Welcome everybody to another episode of Growing Up Kayfabe. I am your host Joe, and this is still the Yeet and No Yeet of Wrestling podcast, the Yes and No of Wrestling podcast. It is the official day after Wrestlemania 41 weekend, Friday go home show, Monday after Mania. So we're gonna cover all the most important things to go from there. You've already watched Not Sam. You've already watched Amia. You've already watched CVV. You've already caught up. Everybody's talking about everything. Now let's get the full scope and spectrum of everything that's happened. Excuse me if I look terrible and I sound stuffy. I'm officially back in Florida and the pollen's everywhere and my face is not reacting well to it. But I'm still here. We're still going to talk WrestleMania 41. Let's get into it. Okay, getting right into night one of Mania. Let's just talk about the things that I found that were whack, that were shitty in my opinion, just to get those done right off the back. And then we'll do the same for night two. First of all, commercials, whack. Opening, whack. And then, what was it? New Day versus War Raiders, whack. El Grande Americano versus Rey Fenix, not whack. Everybody's calling that one whack. Does suck to see Rey have to take an L at WrestleMania, but at the same time, it's like, do we want Chad to take another? Do we want El Grande? They're both debuting luchadors. Let's be clear here. So I don't know. I thought it was a good match regardless. Everything else on night one was perfect. It was perfect. Night one. I think most people are saying right now night one was way better than night two. I mean, Jey Uso beating Gunther was like the most controversial thing for people, which is goofy in my opinion. That's an incredible match. Because here's the thing, people are upset about Gunther tapping out to his own submission move, and I'm like, listen, well, it's only the second time he's ever been submitted, so it's not even that crazy. I mean, it is crazy, but it's like a good crazy thing. It's like, well, this doesn't happen too often. And second of all, if Jey would have just done spear, frog splash, super kick, frog splash, like, you guys would have been like, well, he just did the same thing he always does. So it's truly a case of nothing's good enough for you guys with him. So I really don't care. I was happy with the win. It was the opener of the show, so it's like you didn't get the full spectrum of the stadium to yeet all at once, but it was still pretty cool. And then you got to make up for it on Monday night. So approved. Of course, Jacob Fatu versus LA Knight is so interesting because WWE still to this day hankers on. They still feel like they have to. If the crowd's cheering for you too much, then we got to turn you babyface, and it's like, okay, well, I think nowadays, like, you don't have to do that, but it's kind of, I mean, Jacob Fatu is essentially already a babyface anyway, so that's clearly where they're going. But I mean, he does heel-like tendencies, and therefore he should be a heel or a tweener if we're allowing that for real. Like, if we're actually allowing tweener status. But Jacob Fatu versus LA Knight was an incredible match. The BFT off the moonsault was incredible, even though they kind of missed it. But the cameraman, who was able to get that angle to make it look so good. LA Knight, I feel bad for LA Knight because it's like, it feels like a Cody Rhodes situation where it's like, okay, well, what do you have for him next? What is he going to do next? Because it doesn't seem like you have a lot, and that's an issue he takes, and I would understand that because he's a megastar. Like, he's so good. If his next program isn't something huge or some other title or something, maybe move him over to Raw. Maybe I don't know. So, but you got to do something with that guy, in my opinion, to keep him happy because I don't think you get rid of LA Knight until he's done himself. But Jacob Fatu, the Samoan Werewolf, the U.S. title, and at this point, I was greedy for him. I saw that title around him, and I was like, now he can go take the title off Jey, him and whoever, Tama, Solo, whoever it wants to be, they can take the tag titles off somebody. He should get all the titles and just wear them like, I mean, come on. We need somebody in the WWE to do that. Even if it's only for a little bit, we need somebody to do that. They top out at 2 belts nowadays, and it's like, okay, that's fair, but I want to see some glamour. I want to see some glitz and glamour. We already went over Jade Cargill and Naomi a little bit. Jade Cargill getting the win over Naomi. Great. One of the whole card, one of the best stories told through the weeks and on their match and on WrestleMania night. Just an incredible story told between the two of them. So I think they should get match of the night, if not anything else, but like extreme credit towards what they did. Um, Everybody's just happy that Tiffany Stratton beat Charlotte Flair. That was a major concern across everybody's board. I'm sure there's some Charlotte Flair diehards out there that were like, "Oh, I hope it's got to be that she's gonna win." You're crazy, dude. But that's the thing. They weren't crazy to think that because we were all worried about it. But Tiffany chips a tooth in the match, keeps going. There were some spots where it looked weird, but that's why they need to get Charlotte out of there. She just doesn't care. She's business for herself. She doesn't practice as much as they do. She's clearly still injured. Like it's just not worth it for her. It's just not worth it burying your other talent for this woman. So shouts out Tiffy who gets the dub. We're all happy. I would say I said a lot about the Jade Cargill Naomi thing being the most like artistic storytelling match of the night, but Seth Rollins, Roman, CM Punk triple threat match, the most cinematic, artistic, just a great storytelling and wrestling overall. That's a match that you show people the hype and then you show them the match. Like that's what that is. We ended up witnessing not only an incredible match, which I'll say the last like 5 minutes just felt like them hitting finishers over and over again. Still cool. Still cool. Um, and hitting each other's finishers and stuff like that. But uh, a great match all the way through. Flawless, no botches. And then we witness the betrayal of the century. Right? I mean, it's got to be, right? It's a double turn. And I don't know if we've seen something like I'm trying to think of the last betrayal we've seen plenty of betrayals just this past year, but I don't think any was bigger than this. I don't think anybody actually. I know people have been speculating because of the favor that Seth is saying. You owe me a favor now when he tried to stomp Paul, but nobody really knew, and some people were speculating. Well, what if that means Paul's for Seth? But everybody's like, that doesn't even. It's funny how sometimes when something doesn't make any sense, when it happens, we go, oh, that's right. This can work. This can be a thing. It's exactly what happened. It was confusion up till the second. Paul comes in with the chair, has it up, gives it to Punk. We're like, of course. But then, even more of an of course, the nut shot to Punk. And we're like, okay, yeah, the tribal chief. And Roman's smiling, and he's like, let's go. And I thought it was almost too obvious at this point when Seth was yet again. And why do they always make the chair shot like the thing for Roman? Because he's gotten his revenge on it like 3 times. He did it once before in their matches, and then he did it at WrestleMania 40. Like he's already got the chair shot back twice. He's already got the chair shot back. Why do they keep making that I understand from the standpoint of like that's the part that made it all happen. Like that's the thing. But it's like, okay, he's already gotten that lick back twice. So what's the point of keeping making this the thing? But either way, I digress. It's just little things I nitpick at. But Roman goes, Paul shows him, hey, there he is. The shield. It's there for you, my tribal chief. Gives him the chair. Nut shot. And Seth is standing there the entire time. Like he knows the role. He knows what's about that because he does. And he just waits for the chair to end up in his hand. And it's incredible. We all lost our minds. You didn't think. First of all, poor Paul Heyman had to punch that chair, punch that fucking chair to get that nut shot in because Roman wouldn't lift the chair up a little bit. But still, an incredible moment. That's what they talk about when making a moment. That's gonna live forever in history. And CM Punk at the end of the match, when they all walked out, they played their music separately for everybody as they walked out. And CM Punk standing in the ring as everybody cheering, and he says, "I fucking did it." That's a moment. These are all moments. These guys stole the show. I don't care what anybody says. Match of the entire WrestleMania was that triple threat, and everybody was talking that shit. Oh, it's not even for a title. Oh, what does this even gain from them? It gains everything from them. as we all know now, Rollins is about to go into an extremely lengthy, incredible program with Paul Heyman and this new faction that they're clearly about to build. Roman can literally do anything. He can go after Jacob Fatu. He can go after fucking Punk. He can go after Rollins again. He can literally do anything, and you'll pay to see it. So Roman's fine. And Punk, same thing. He's probably gonna end up fighting Cena at some point. He might go after Rollins again. Oh, he's already clearly, as we've seen, we'll talk about later, already going after Rollins. So it just keeps things going for everybody. It's perfect. Perfect. My other gripe for the night was the ads. The ads were insane. I mean, it's crazy how many ads there were. It was fucking stupid. And same for night 2. I'll say it ahead of time because we're about to go into night 2. Insane how many ads there were. I mean, it really, really bothered me at some point. I was like, this is crazy. And everybody else noticed too. That being said, getting into night 2, if I look it over right now as I see it on my screen, the match of the night for night 2, Io, Rhea, Bianca Belair. And everybody was complaining about this turning into a triple threat. Rhea doesn't need to be there. It probably would have been a banger no matter what because Io is involved. But the reality is those three together made it an incredible match. A match where people were like literally hanging on every single thing they did. Once they were finished with a sequence, the people were like in awe, and then they would stand and clap. It's the first match of the night. First match, and they're already making people stand an ovation. They got a triple this is awesome, a double fight forever. It was what the epitome of like it just felt like wrestling. It felt good. And it felt like three wrestlers who really gelled. And Io, as always, she does everything to steal the show without having to do too much. Talking about it with my moms and watching it with my moms, it was nice to see this with my moms for once. And when she gets, it doesn't matter what she does. She does a move. She does her backflip to the outside, takes out Rhea. Yeah, like she's just so genuine in her character, and I think people connect with that. And then she's just a badass too. So poor Rhea Ripley, poor Bianca Belair, they get taken out with a over the moonsault on both of them. Io covers for the 3. They say she's the first Japanese winner since WrestleMania 26. I don't know though. I feel like there's other people who have other stats that would debunk that, but I'm not too sure. That's just what I've heard. So shouts out Io Sky as always. Our number one girl around here. For me, it really goes back and forth, but when it comes to an overall, my favorite woman wrestler of all time is Toni Storm. Then it would probably have to go to Io, then Rhea. Sorry, Rhea. Just things are happening. Things are changing. I'm going through changes. Yeah. Drew McIntyre, Damian Priest, Sin City Street Fight. The intros for them were sick. Good for them. I'm always going to hate Drew's music. Always going to hate it. Always going to respect CM Punk. One of the few guys who came out when they were in their feud and was like, shut that stupid music off. Nobody wants to hear that dumb bagpipe music. Shut it off. It was the first guy I've heard in such a long time say that about Drew's music, because it is just so... And I'm saying it because I like Drew's older music. His music is badass and it fits his character so well. I have this if you're a person who's watching this who mixes music, I have this idea, this dream idea of his music playing, and once it gets into the dun dun, the heavy guitar riffs, the as it kicks in from the bagpipes of that, it can fade into Rowdy Piper's music, and how cool that would have been if in their primes they were a thing together. It'd been sick. I digress though. Drew McIntyre and Damian Priest. Honestly, Damian got his licks in, but Drew beat the fuck out of him. He beat the shit out of Damian Priest, and as he should. I think, going forward, they cannot deny the star power of Drew. And again, he's another guy where you can do almost anything you want with him, but to keep him happy and to do the right thing, you should make sure you're putting him into the proper programs, and sometimes that's going to be a championship. Drew takes out Damian with a claymore into a chair that's in the turnbuckle. Insane. Damian takes a double table bump. Damian went through it this night, and Drew just got to take another selfie and be like, bored at work. T. That buff badass with rocket boots strapped to his boots. Did I say rocket boots strapped to his boots? We'll be right back. The not the match of the night, but the win of the night. From here at Growing Up Kayfabe, the Intercontinental Championship match, Fatal 4-Way. Everybody's on Braun Breaker's dick, which they should be. Braun Breaker, he pulled out the Steiner math for you. He let you know he had a 129% chance of winning. I mean, that's a high percent chance. If you're a betting man, you take that percent. You know? Yeah! But I digress. Finn Balor, everybody knows he wasn't going to win this. Penta was the only outlier to be like, okay, he might win this. Dominic Mysterio, just like Io Sky earlier in the night. Frog splash onto Finn as he's taking the pin. Boom. New Intercontinental first IC championship for Dominic Mysterio. So proud of that boy. So proud of him. I mean, he's getting cheered now. So again, it's like, what do we do with Dom? Now he's getting cheered. Now he doesn't get booed anymore. So what do we do? I don't know. I think Dom wins Money in the Bank. I think Dom should win Money in the fucking bank. I think he should run this IC title as long as he can. And if they don't keep it on him during Money in the Bank, I think he should win Money in the Bank. Because I mean, at this point, when it comes to pushing him babyface or heel still, I mean, I don't even know. And that might be bad to not know, but they probably know. I don't know. And man, the surprise of the night, everybody, Randy Orton's surprise opponent. Everybody was like, well, it's going to be the returning Aleister Black or Rusev, and everybody was like, okay, well, as pointed out on Wrestlemania, it makes sense now that you think about it, going, okay, well, if they would have brought them back, they would have definitely lost to Orton, so they would have come back at Mania and lost, unlike Cody, who came back at Mania and won. So you need somebody who's willing to take the L. Q, say his name, and he appears. I believe in Joe Hendry. Incredible. Joe Hendry gets a WrestleMania moment. He comes out, the crowd, huge pop for Joe Hendry. He's so goofy. It's so funny. Now that my moms knew who he was, and it's so funny showing people who this guy is, and because they're also blown away. They're like, why does everybody know who this guy is? And I mean, what an incredible match. And then what a great moment for both of them. Quick match. Obviously, just a quick little thing for Joe Hendry to get his stuff in. Would have liked to see a standing ovation and see him kick out, Randy kick out, but that's okay. Blocks an RKO. Randy gets the RKO at the end. Puts over Joe Hendry just to RKO him in the end. And Randy Orton, the meme lord himself, the Elden Ring god, hits the Joe Hendry pose, but with the Randy Orton.
We are in Vegas. You can play for a trifecta.
Like, come on, man. It doesn't get it. And I was pointing out that. I was pointing at the screen. I go, that's wrestling. That's wrestling right there. Fun. What you got to see was a moment that made the crowd happy with a guy who has a shtick that makes them happy. You got to see an actual good wrestling match. You got to see comedy, and you got to see fun. And you got to see a guy who, with his 10 years allowed to go in and out of his character, you get to see a guy do something fun. And that was probably, again, one of my top 5 moments of all of WrestleMania. More than Joe Hendry himself coming out, is Randy Orton doing the pose and turn around. And incredible. I'm going to go watch that today. I think the match that everybody's upset about, which I am also upset about, is Logan Paul versus AJ Styles. I mean, it wasn't even that great of a match. Like, it was good, but if AJ was going to lose, I mean, I wanted to see him like lose like definitively, or I mean, he technically lost to cheating, but it's like, I don't know, man. It just sucked to see that. I guess it helps build for this Karrion Kross stuff, which Karrion Kross needs to be pushed. You need to do something with this man, because the things he's saying and doing, the things he has been saying and doing has been incredible. The work he's been doing that's been such medium to long form storytelling should not be ignored. And if you don't know already, you should look at Karrion Kross on the work he's been doing and look at the promos he's been cutting since WrestleMania, because that man's been on fire, blurring the lines of kayfabe and reality and making us think like, oh, is this guy losing his mind or is he actually just making a good point? Both. But he's mad because AJ Styles, again, he's blurring the lines. Like, AJ Styles should have won. And we're all like, yeah, he should have won. And he's like, no, he should have won because he should have cheated. And he didn't cheat. And now he lost. And now Logan Paul gets a win. And that's on him. That's his fault. And now he makes us look bad. And you're like, dang, again, not wrong. So, Logan Paul, I mean, that was a great lion salt, literally all the way on the other side of the ring. So, I'll give him that. Otherwise, go fuck yourself. We'll dabble into Monday with the Becky Lynch comeback. Becky Lynch was the other big comeback. We've all known that Becky Lynch was going to come back for quite some time now. She's the guest opponent or guest tag team partner for Lyra Valkyria versus Liv and Raquel. Bullshit. Becky came in and did the classic. She did the Becky Hogan. That doesn't work for me, brother. And when I saw that, I was pretty upset because it just saw it as like, okay, well, Becky's back. Got to give her what she wants. Got to make her happy. But again, dabbling into Raw where the rematch happens and Liv and Raquel win the titles back just for Becky to turn heel. And I go, oh, sometimes it's good to be a mark because you get to be surprised like that. And that's where I didn't see it coming. I didn't understand that. And with Becky winning, not only does it make her look strong and have her have a good comeback, have Lyra have another good little title win, but still kind of sucks because then she loses it the very next night. But it's all for Becky to turn heel. And that's great because then give me Hogan Becky. Take the IC title from Lyra. I don't care because I like heel Becky. But I have been hearing rumblings that she might join this new faction that's, getting formed up right now. So we'll see about that. And of course, before we get into the main event, Stone Cold Steve Austin. What are you doing, man? He really should not come back for any matches. It's official. I agree with him now. That man drunkenly didn't miss the ramp to get onto the actual ramp to get down. And then he crashes into the wall. What are you doing? What are you doing, Stone Cold? First of all, you did one lap just fine. You should have just called it a day. You already missed the ramp. And instead, he got penisy out there. And look what he did. Almost hurt somebody. Jesus Christ, Stone Cold. Crazy. Okay. John Cena, Cody Rhodes. We all knew what was going to happen. If you sat there and looked at me and you were like, Cody Rhodes is going to defend, I'm going to be like, when do you think John's going to win the title then? When do you think he's going to win the title when it'll mean more than ever? Like SummerSlam? Like 6 months before he leaves? No. That's crazy. No. He's going to win now. The match, though, I have to agree with the online consensus is that it wasn't that great of a match. It felt weird. It felt forced. It felt like John was going in and out of character. And I just didn't know what was happening anymore. And I think anybody would agree that we just didn't need the Travis Scott thing. Just didn't need it. And it sucks because it's the one and only time where I'll agree with that. Like, yeah, The Rock should have been there. Should have been The Rock who came out. Like, almost anybody, honestly. But Travis Scott coming out just for Cody to get his lick back and then lose in the way that Cody did. Which, again, poetically, story-wise telling, yes, he's the ultimate babyface. He doesn't want to stoop to John's level. He doesn't want to become what John's become, which he will inevitably become. And so that makes sense. And then John takes advantage, cheats, and I mean, he doesn't even. I think that's the other thing that people were bummed about. He didn't win with an STF. He didn't win with an attitude adjustment. He won by using a nut shot and a belt shot, and title shot. Sorry. And that's the thing about John's character right now, though, is that he doesn't have to win with those things anymore. He doesn't want to win with those things. He'll win by any means necessary because he's a bad guy. So when it comes to the finish, I'm okay with the finish. And I think it was the right move. Everybody cheering him as he left. Thank you, Cena, and all that, because it's his last WrestleMania. And he just did something story-wise. He did something brave. Even if even if people say it's not cooking like it should, or it's not going the way they thought, or whatever the case may be, he's doing something brave to like give us a cool story at the end, and that was his last ever time you'll ever see him compete at a WrestleMania. So I would say the send off was better than the match overall, but the finish I still liked, even with Travis, and the match I could take or leave. Shouts out to everybody involved. Shouts out to WrestleMania. I think everybody's talking about how like 41 wasn't that great, and I think that's just because 40 had such a great story driven behind it. Like the Cena heel thing was good and all, it's good, but I mean, that's the story with Cody and Roman and the whole moment with Taker and Cena coming out and Jey and Jimmy and all these, The Rock and all these people coming out. And then, of course, the matches that were also happening in that night, too, is like there was so much story that was like extremely long, like very, very much so built for 40. And it was such a moment again. It was like it's the big 40, it's WrestleMania XLs. It was built differently. And I think that sometimes you need a WrestleMania that it's WrestleMania, it's a big night, but it still has to serve as a transitional thing for what we're going to do for the rest of the year. And maybe it's not the biggest one, but next year might be even bigger. And it probably will be. But we'll see. I still think WrestleMania 41 was great. I love the aesthetic. Love being able to see John do it one more time. Everything else was spot on for me. Very, very little minimum. Like everybody who has a very wide spectrum of complaints, I think that's kind of nice about this podcast is because we'll have gripes and grievances and nitpick things, but I can guarantee you will be way less than the spectrum of what the online consensus is. And I disagree with Triple H. I'm going to be honest with you. I don't think that us online don't mean anything. I think that is him being upset, and I think he needs to work on that. And maybe not. Maybe it's a work. You never know. Blurring the lines. But if he truly thinks that like the things that we say online hold no value, there again, he's right and wrong because the Jey Uso hate is bullshit online, and sometimes things are right, like the Cody, we want Cody online. So it's like, but I think Triple H knows that, and I think he just gets upset because of how much hate there has been. There's been a lot of hate, so I think it was just compared to last year where it was just the Cody thing. Like, and I think that's why the rest of the card fell off because all anybody cared about was Cody and Roman and The Rock and how that was going to go. So as long as they were getting what they wanted there, they were good. So I think people are under that conception of like, well, if we think it's bad, then it's bad. And it's like, no, you can think it's bad, but it seems like there's more people who think it's good. Raw after Mania. I mean, again, the reports saying, wow, this is such a good Raw from beginning to finish. Triple H must have really wanted to like make up for it. It's like, I mean, it's the Raw after Mania. They usually do a good Raw after Mania. We got comebacks. We got Rusev coming back. Rusev Day, which was weird because it was in between this like tag match thing, but they just used it, I guess, to like get the New Day out of there and beat up on Tozawa and Otis, which was still finally, I mean, it's funny that like that's kind of like heel stuff, but everybody was still like, Rusev Day. You bet you should probably bring him back as a babyface because everybody's going to want to cheer him. But that was cool. Rusev looked sick. He looked fucking shredded, looked peak. Like, he's definitely like championship caliber right now, I would say. So please don't mess that up. And then we got the show opening. Of course, I didn't think it would go with anybody else opening it. John Cena comes out, still wearing the title backwards on him. Again, moments. It's a moment of like, this is his last time. Raw after Mania. Last time you'll see that. And he comes out, cuts a promo that again makes sense. He's getting on people that have been recently. They're using real time stuff. People have been booing Cody, and he's like, you boo Cody. He's been doing everything for you. He was your only hope, and you booed him. And you think because you cheer me now that the fact that you booed me all through the rest of this, I'm just gonna be okay with it? No, and that's what's wrong with you guys. And I'm like, again, tell him when he's wrong, because he's just spitting again. It's the line blur because you're like, well, this is what we're supposed to do because it's wrestling, and it's like, well, you're awful for it. And I mean, he's got us, to bring up the fact that, everybody's saying we aren't. I don't know what was going on with the chant in the crowd. I thought they were saying we aren't sorry when he said, but some of the people saying we are sorry. I don't know. I heard we aren't. That's what I heard. Uh, so I don't know. It's hard to say because I feel like a lot of people were saying we are sorry. That was a funny moment for him to bring up, and yeah, it definitely as the promo was ending, it felt like okay, who's gonna come out? Somebody's gonna come out because as he's been doing, he's alluding to you have no chance. Nobody that can stop you. I have 27 more dates. I don't even have to wrestle him. I just have to show up to those dates. Like I just have to show up to those dates, and that's it. So that's it. That's all I'm telling you guys. I'm gonna show up, ruin this all for you, and you'll have to start all over again. I'm taking this title home. That's it. Sorry. And there's nothing you can do, and there's nobody that can save you. And as he's saying that, a snake slithered into the garden, popped his little head up, RKO out of nowhere. RKO. And this is where the heel turn and John winning. Cody, it was your turn to make a sacrifice now. Because we needed this so that way we can see John versus Randy one more time for a title. We can see John versus Punk one more time for a title. We can see all these epic matches one more time for John with a title. And it's going to be crazy. It's going to be awesome. I can't wait to see this build. Randy versus... It's clearly going to go to Backlash, so we are just a few weeks away from Randy versus John probably at Backlash, which is going to be sick. Can't wait for that. Jey Uso promo was great until Sammy came out. Can't stand that guy. Everybody knows we can't stand that guy. Can't stand him talking like this for every single thing he has to say. It's so annoying. It's the dumbest shit ever. Really just ruined the whole thing. Shouts out Jimmy coming out, and then they all it was basically just a yeet fest for like 25 minutes. It was pretty crazy. Gunther's a big baby. We all see that. And he's just going to be a big bully, and I don't know what that's going to get him. Maybe now he can get that match with Goldberg, though. Maybe now. We'll have to see. It could happen. Now it could happen. Maybe that's what it leads into. I think Goldberg's going to want to be a baby face for his run. So if Gunther is bullying Michael Cole, Pat McAfee. How did Pat McAfee get so purple? But clearly held his breath, but then he just stayed so purple. It was crazy. He was already red sunburn. That was wild. Bullying these people, doing bullying stuff. If he's getting this much heat, which he got a lot of heat last night for that. If he continues this heat, and at that point, when you have that much heat, it's one of those anybody. And I'm not a fan of Goldberg, but if the Goldberg music hits while he's doing some big bully shit, everybody's going to know what the fuck is up. But Goldberg doesn't... I think his last match is supposed to be SummerSlam. That's a long time away. So, I don't know. We'll have to see where that goes. If they can get him in some bullying matches and stuff like that, maybe put him up against Rusev or something. That'd be sick. Gunther versus Rusev. I'd like that. I'd like that a lot. What else happened? We already went over the fact that Raquel and Liv got their titles back. Shouts out. Becky turns heel. Shouts out. This is the other surprise of the night, which was Io coming out, cutting her, congratulations promo. She is over the moon about this, which is adorable. And then who is this? Stephanie Vaquer coming out. Everybody's, it's a mishmash of like people who really, really know her, NXT people who know her, and then other fans who are like, who is this? Everybody's like, they're both dressed to compete right now. I think we're going to get a treat. And we got a match between Stephanie and Io, which was incredible. It's like some stuff you would see in like New Japan or, Lucha Underground or something. Like it was a very special treat. And it sucked that it ended in interference, but it was probably for the best. So neither of those champions kind of took a pinfall. Get it? I get it. Us wrestling nuance. Still suck though. Would like to see a definitive finish. But Roxanne Perez does have the title match against Stephanie coming up. And having Julia have any interaction with any of them is good. Having any of them, all four, have an interaction is great. But I just want Roxanne to go up and go from there. Because I was excited. I was like, oh, Roxanne's coming to Raw. Because it's like, it's going to happen because she keeps showing up on Raw and SmackDown. So eventually she'll get the full push. But, I mean, like, make it happen already, you know? We get the moment when Liv and Raquel lost the titles. I was like, well, now we're not going to get the moment on Raw where Judgment Day's, you know, celebrating with all their titles and Finn comes in like, must be nice. Like, we're not going to get that moment now. But we got the moment. Finn comes in, does the thing. He says, hey, what happened in Vegas stays in Vegas. I don't know why I'm Jason Statham for it, and he gives him a fist bump. And it's fake. It's obviously fake. Carlito cheersing his apple into everybody's title, which is hilarious. He's got a yellow apple to symbolize gold for the title. Incredible. But that led into Dom's match tonight, which again, incredible match with him versus Penta for the IC title. Immediately having to defend his title from somebody from the Fatal 4-Way. And the answer that everybody was, you know, if you were wondering, like, well, why isn't Braun Breakker? Why isn't he getting it? You found out later on. But Penta versus Dom was a great match and ended just how you thought it was. A clean finish for Dom. An extremely clean finish where JD just happened to show up to let everybody know he was back. That was it. And Dom Frog Splash Penta. 619 Frog Splash. Easy. Shouts out to him. And then, of course, you get the end of the night promo with Seth, you know, just talking that good shit. His bright yellow, neon yellow ass jacket thing. Just basically telling everybody what we've already been thinking. You know, he's been steps ahead. And it's true. But it's cut very short because we were wondering. I was like, they don't have very much time for all this. And CM Punk comes out. They brawl. Roman brawls. But wait a minute. He gets the Superman punch on Paul Heyman, which I feel like some people have forgotten that had already happened before. He had already Superman punched Paul Heyman once before. Gets the Superman punch. But wait a minute. A spear on Roman? Who just speared? Braun Breakker. Braun Breakker, Seth Rollins, and Paul Heyman are now all in an alliance. So we don't know if that's coming back or if it's like a reformation of Evolution. I have to say that I heard Santi Zap say, is this like a reformation of Evolution? And the way that Rollins was putting his arm around Braun and pointing with the same hand, very, very Triple H like. Go back and look at any time he was like, when he'd grab any of the guys, Batista or Randy, he'd always have them, he'd be talking in their ear, and then he'd be pointing. Oh, yeah, that guy over there. He'd have like a title. He'd always have his title or something, you know? So I don't know. They can go anywhere with it. But that'd be great if Becky joined, and then I guess, I don't know who they'd get for like one more guy, or if they even need to get one more guy, but it's a pretty cool. Seth is now officially the #1 undisputed main talent on the entire roster, as per Paul Heyman. And that's how Raw goes off air with this new formation, this new alliance, if you would. And I mean, damn, it has been a tiring week of wrestling. It's been so much. It's been so good. We still have NXT. We didn't even talk about Stand and Deliver, but shouts out Stand and Deliver. Shouts out Sol Ruka for her North American title win, getting that belt in the ladder match. Shouts out Oba. What do I say? Don't put this man in a triple threat match unless you want him to win. And they put him in triple threat matches and he wins time and time again. So shouts out to everything. Shouts out to Hank and Tank, who unfortunately dethroned Fraxium, my favorite tag team right now. And that's whatever. That's fine. That's whatever. That's okay. Addressing the elephant in the room. There was no Darnell here this week. Normally I would just say he'd be back. We'll see him on the next one. Darnell has decided to cut ties with Growing Up Kayfabe, and everything else involved with that. And here's what I have to say about that. That is somebody I considered to be a really close friend. Somebody I considered to be a partner in everything I was doing. And somebody I trusted. And that was taken advantage of.
And I've known for a long time that you was a rat like that. Because you tell people about how easy you are to drop anybody for no reason. Little reason. Any reason. So I guess I shouldn't be surprised about how big of a rat you are. You made every day doing this podcast an issue. And you made doing this a chore. The simplest shit, a chore. And that's going to be the rest of your life. A chore for simple things, such as walking. So I hope you enjoy that. And I hope you all enjoyed this podcast. And we'll see you on the next one with more wrestling. Wrestle Talk. Bye, everyone.